Okay, and we're live. So, this is our second session of Swords Without Master, and we are picking up where we left off. Morg is currently indisposed, but they might return the next session. We're not sure. But we have everybody else. So, same characters from last time. Although, now I'm going to try to focus more on a lot of the NPCs that weren't really focused on last session, so that we get a few different characters that we're going to focus on this time, or at least more of a variety of characters. But just to recap what happened last session, you guys were introduced in the middle of a escape from the temple of the garden priests. You were able to escape there after leaving the catacombs with no treasure to your name. And then afterwards, you escaped into the custody of an ally that you had within the Thieves Guild, who requested that you help his daughter, who was being kidnapped by some rival thieves. And after resolving, and while you were resolving that issue, my dice fell on the floor. That's why I'm looking for it. While you were resolving that issue,
why it's always a thieves guild? Why couldn't we be allied with the IRS or something like that?
Hey, I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to find like some tax person in the city, you can go ahead and do that. But
it's always something shady where we're allied with a thieves guild or we're allied with the underground resistance. We're never allied with Joe Schmo who's a butcher for a living. And
I mean, we're also never with like the Knights Guard or anything like that.
I mean, you guys are rogues, so I mean, unless you want to ally with this. Speaking of the guard, actually, I was getting to that. So the guard shows up, and they started a whole fight with your sort of group because there was a tussle that was going on, and they weren't sure who was on what side, so they just kind of fought everybody. Mm-hmm. And you all managed to escape thanks to the help of Jack and his ally, who whisked you through a trap. Who whisked Ishtok through a trap door into the underground.
And don't forget.
The major thing also was that even though Ivy was able to escape with your target, we discovered that the city had a strong prejudice against magic. And immediately afterwards, Lilith has some very potent psychic ability that allowed her to defend herself at the last possible moment and escape the clutches of the monkey men who lurk the rooftops, who also got involved in this large battle towards the end of the session. So now we're sort of picking up it's sort of that night, kind of moving into the next day. And basically the way I'm structuring this is I decided on who I was going to start with based on what tone it is. So if I end up with Jovial, with Lilith, sort of closer to the morning, and then if we go for Glum, then I'm going to move directly into the sewers, which or not the sewer. It's not really a sewer. There's no water. The underground.
The underground.
Sorry, I literally just realized it sounds a lot like Undertale now, because you're under the ground.
We're gonna meet Boyle now.
Regardless, you guys are gonna be underground if I roll Columbus. So I wanted to kind of make this role a little bit more important. So I'm going to do the roll, and then I will set the scene. We're going to be starting with a discovery phase while the characters are sort of wandering around, learning things about the world. So I'm going to roll first. Okay, I got 3 and a 5 for Glum being the highest. So I will go with that. So we will start in the underground. Give me a second to grab that in my
The underground.
notes. So it's the two of you under the sea. Let me go to that section. So let me sort of set the scene. You guys are basically both together in this underground part of the city. There are these illuminated there's sort of light because mushrooms that sort of glow in the dark all around the walls. They kind of coat the walls and glow in like strange, colorful pulses. The three of you together are Jack, Ishtak, and Jack's companion, the black-furred, known as Itzal. You're sort of all meandering through the dim light. The Undercity is teeming with rats and scoundrels. It feels very dry, warm, and constrictive because it's very sort of tight. It's not very spacious. Jack is limping through the Undercity, staggering while the others try to support him. His left leg is numbing, seeping through his body. They lay you down on a straw bed where Itzal normally makes his temporary home. You're forced to consider your options. Jack has disease and poison, but it won't last forever, and he has already survived for several hours when a lesser man would have been dead in one. So, with that, I'm going to pass the dice to Kara. And that was the thunder. I probably should have mentioned the fact that he is still under the effects of this poison. That's sort of the threat that you're facing in this immediate moment, because you don't know how much longer he will actually be able to last. And with that, I'm going to pass the dice to Kara, and you will tell me something that your character. You'll tell me how you discover something new, or something your character knows, or just now is finding out. That sort of thing. So I'll let you take over, and then you ask me a question about what you've discovered. That sort of thing.
Okay. So for discovery phase, do I have to roll or?
Oh yeah, you roll immediately. Yes.
Yeah.
The overtone right now. The overtone right now is glum, so that will determine how your narration goes.
Okay, I got 6 on the white and 5 on the black.
Okay, so that is a jovial, I believe.
Yeah.
So you're more jovial tone. All right. So that's kind of running counter to the glum tone that I'm establishing. So you can kind of play up that contrast if you want. But you would tell me something that you discover, or something that you already know, or something that you're finding out now. That's up to you how you want to do that.
Well, let's see. I think that we'll go with the What was Jack's friend's name?
It's all.
If you want to spell it, I can do that.
Yeah, that might help. I have it spelled on the doc, actually.
On Google, I'll do it.
Yeah, they're actually like right at the bottom of the cast list.
Below the multi.
Hello?
Should we lose Kara?
I'm not sure. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Hello. We can't hear you, by the way. If you check if you're mute, I guess, or not. Can't hear you. All right.
He's still in the chat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird. Oh,
Oh,
I
never
think
mind.
he's trying to reset it, I think.
Hello?
Thanks.
Well, okay, so meanwhile, what are you doing in the background? Both of your characters, I guess.
Well, I'll be just like, just feeling the pain seeping from my body. It doesn't feel good. It's just the rage, the anger, the pain, the sorrow.
Ow. Someone's feedbacking.
Oh, what is it?
I don't know.
That's you.
I'm on a tablet. I can't see you guys.
Oh, it's me.
Probably.
Yeah, it was him.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
So far.
Okay.
I'll tell you if it happens again.
Pain seizing from my body. I can't bear it at the moment. It's rather fine, dandy. I think I've felt worse. I think, well, after all, I do deal with fire. I might have burned my hands once in a while. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say it was an awful experience. Feel poisoned. And my body's going numb. I don't like that. And there's probably some way to fix that. I see my pal though is cooking up something. He's covered himself. He's covered himself, hunched over there, covered himself in cloth and stuff. Some weird backpack in there on his hunched back. Of sorts. I don't know why he has that. It must be uncomfortable for the back. Jeez. Again, he said, "No, it's Bart Elf, Black Elf. Biology is rather different." Here's some rats all about in the corners, clicking and squeaking, and the echoes of ghosts in the distance of other people from somewhere else. I'm not sure.
I actually do want to mention to Dustin, I think the last thing that would have happened with your character more recently, before the actual morning comes, was that you would have gone back with, or you would have met up with Ivy at the tea house, gotten the antidote from the man who you were speaking with.
Okay.
Vertius, because he was going to give it to Ivy, but since Ivy now has to remain in hiding, she probably would have entrusted it to you. But you don't know where your friend went, so that would be the last thing that you would do that night. And I could play out that scene, but it was a scene that I kind of wanted to do with Morg.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not here, I think I would just sort of gloss over that and say, well,
And we can
he
always
gave
just have a flashback later.
yeah. But I mean, he would have given you the antidote, so you have it, and he would have let you stay for the night if you needed a place as well, just as repayment for doing him this favor.
Yeah.
But then from there, it would come to the morning once we get to your scene.
Okay.
Does it continue or?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay.
I think what I would do at this point is I would let you sort of take the dice if Car's not here right now. So I'll let you take them, and then you can give me something that you either know or discover, and then you can ask me a question about it.
Okay. Right gloom, left jovial. Let's go.
Okay.
Right 3, left 2.
Okay, so that's I believe that's a mystery. Let me check.
Like a mystery that I.
Yeah, so it would be something of a supernatural or mysterious nature that you discover.
You get eaten by the Gru.
What?
Well, I'd hope not.
I'm sorry. What?
You're eaten by a Gru.
A girl?
I get the reference. I guess Carl doesn't.
What are you guys talking
That's
about?
definitely a problem. It's a Zork.
Zork? I'm like
It's a
lost
text
here.
game.
Oh. Okay. Lost. So something supernatural. Like,
Or unknown,
Okay.
yeah. And then we'd add it to the mysteries, yes.
hmm. I'm gonna ask a question to Ishtak, but he's not here, so.
What were you gonna ask him?
What happened? What happened with the lady, the woman who got messed up by the other people?
I
Does he
mean,
know?
you saw that, so you would know.
Okay, so I know what
I mean,
about
that-
that. That
I mean-
she got up so badly that she got
I
knocked
mean-
out.
she literally got
Oh.
her head. She literally got her head smashed against the wall, and her head was bleeding.
Mm-hmm. Hello?
That happened.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you were there when that happened.
Yeah, I was around. I'm not sure if I saw it happen, like, exactly. Oh, suspicious saw. Oh, someone's. The fuck is this? I'm sorry. Noticing something with my printer. Sorry, I'm thinking over here.
It's fine. Yeah, take your time. We're not in a rush.
The hell's going on with
To put it another way, think about something that you, as a player, sort of want to introduce into the world, and then that's something that you create as a mystery, that sort of thing. Okay, mysteries are only if you tie. Never mind. Oh, right. So the morals are if you get a 2 and a 3. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. So yes, you have to do a moral again. And yeah, that's it. Now I remember it. Yes. So you discover something, but it has an unintended consequence, and you learn a lesson, or you have a lesson that's related to it.
Isn't this your third moral?
I think so, but he does have a he does have a what's the word? He does have his stunt that allows him to ignore what he rolled. Although he'd have to do that before he rolled. But that is a thing that you could have done. Or still do. I'd still allow you to do that.
If I can do it, I will do
If you
it.
don't want to do a moral again.
Don't. Please. Do not want to be forsaken by the morality system of this game. That is karma. Is a bitch. Actually, karma doesn't exist in this world, apparently. It's just running about being insane.
Is that your... So wait, you cut out for me. What were you saying?
I was saying, oh my god, car's back.
Yay.
Bloody rubbish net.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I gave the dice to Carl, so he's trying to figure out what he wants to discover. But then he rolled a
3 and 2.
he rolled a moral, so now he's going to discover something that causes an unintended consequence, and that
God,
he
you
has a
and your
lesson
morals, Carl.
related to that.
If it was 1 in something, not freaking 2 and. Yeesh. How the hell did I get a moral from the 2?
Well, it's anything that's less than 4, I think, and then both of them are. So if both of them are less than 4 and there's no tie, then it's a moral.
Oh, for God's sake.
But like I said, you can use your feet if you don't actually want to take the result. Either that or
And I want to use my feet. Yeah.
okay. Which one? Because you have 2.
2? Where's the.
Oh, I can send it to you if you need it. I have it here. There you go. And you can use either one.
The feet?
Yep.
Okay.
I actually think, well, I'm not sure which one would actually make sense here, because it actually has to make sense in this scene. I'm wondering what you would actually.
Hold up.
Well, I mean, that could also make sense now that I think about it. But I'm not actually going to tell you how to describe things because that would be rude of me. I actually did figure out a way that you could work your way out of this, but I'm not going to give you help.
Through feet or without feet saying you're not going to say anything?
No, I came up with a way you could use your feet, but I'm not going to give you advice because that would be unfair. Or you could just take a moral. Either one is valid option.
I'm going to take some more for now.
Okay. So all you have to do is describe something that you discover and then possibly how it creates an unintended consequence. If you don't, then I will. So.
Okay.
And then Kara, you'd keep your dice on the table. Like whatever result you got would still stay whatever you had. So,
Okay.
so you'd still.
So unintended consequence would be an example of the unintended consequence again would be like
Would be basically you make some kind of mistake that causes something to happen that you weren't intending. So if you, let's say, discover that the poison could be cured, but it requires, sacrifice of some such, and you perform that sacrifice, but then it causes something else to happen that you weren't intending, and then the lesson would be something related to that. I'm not sure, but that would be like an example. So the idea would be that you discover something, but whatever you discover has an unintended consequence, or the way you discover it might have an unintended consequence. Because it's either something you know or something you learn in the moment, what you're describing. So you can either how you learn something, or how you gain knowledge of it, or what you gain knowledge of has some sort of consequence attached to it. And there's a lesson attached to what happens.
I'm thinking of something that has to do with the two groups are around
Okay.
our foes.
Right.
That they might be connected.
Well, then, is it something you know, or is it something you're discovering? See, that would be the first way to kind of narrow it down.
Discovering
Is it something
some, like I like wander off, like what?
Okay. So then you can just you can have your scene. You have the dice, so you go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I find myself nowhere at all. Same time somehow. Wandering, walking. I'm just like really sort of dazed up, but I'm sort of picking myself up again. I'm like, where the hell am I? It's like sun, right? Oh, sorry, I'm organizing. Where have I found myself in? And I see I explore my surroundings, and I find myself in the sort of underground, rundown city of sorts. For those who like to come down here and not be discovered. A place for, a hive of scum and villainy, you could argue. Rather sickly, rather smelly, rather tasteless. Around me, I see people. Well, that could be debatable. They all walk in strange ways, take strange shapes, talk in strange tongues as well. I hear something rather odd. I approach this noise, this sound, and let's speak of this. I see these familiar folk. I may have seen them before. I believe I saw them with them. Or her, actually. Yeah. The red something. But they're with them. Representatives of the Iroquois gang. Oh, shit. How lovely. I hear them talking about hunting down their own enemies for their own purposes and having some business talk about a specific place in the city, the temple. Recently, we've gone there. They talk about something they know they had something there, but now they have to move it. I believe I heard their name before. Legrand. But then I spill it. I spill it, and the barrels come knocking down, and they see me. All of them. I was to depart from there, but then I found that they weren't right in front of me. They were surrounding me right now. They already knew I was there. Oh, I guess because I smell too much, or rather, oh, guess I did make myself a bit expressive in my journey. You know, there's a couple of marks on the floor I could see right now that may have come from a certain place. Okay, the front of me, yes. And may have to do with something in my immune system, trying to take something out. And I probably should have left. And now I can smell him, but he's not that close. And he's probably going to be pissed at me. Shit. What do you think?
So what question are you asking me about what you've discovered here? That would be the next thing that you do. So you ask me a question about what you've discovered.
Oh, he's messing up now. Okay. How long were they working working together for?
Hmm.
Is that a good one or?
Okay.
It's good.
That's not a bad question. Not a very interesting question, but I can still answer it.
It's just
Based on the way they're communicating, you would guess that this partnership is actually fairly recent. Not some kind of old deal that's been forged over centuries or even generations, but this is more of a more recent sort of collaboration between this particular cult and the gang that you are familiar with.
okay. You're back.
So I'm wondering I wonder which moral you want to go with, because I actually have two in mind. The first one I came up with was because the one that you said and the one that I'm thinking, the one I was thinking was eavesdropping is seen as very rude.
Mhm.
The other one I was thinking was what you said, which was you should always have a buddy with you is sort of the moral, because you kind of went out on your own. I'm not sure which one you prefer.
I'm sorry. You were saying and what? The other one?
The two I had in mind were either that eavesdropping is considered very rude and it's not something you should do, or the other one was that you should always have a buddy with you, like use the buddy system, because you went off on your own and now you're surrounded. But the one you pointed out was the whole keep someone with you thing. So I think that's the one we'd actually use.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So you'd write that up.
Well, that's gonna work well.
Oh yeah. Do we have the motif thingy up?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I liked the way Carl described the city and such.
Ah, yeah. Well, I actually was writing that as mine.
Oh, okay.
You need the link again? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm on the page, or I'm on our sheets, but I don't see where the motifs are.
It's in the middle of the page, like underneath the themes and such. I think it's the second page.
The second page is the rogues.
Oh, you're looking at the first session.
Oh, okay.
There's a different doc that has the new ones on.
I see. All right.
So on top.
Can I
Of the group.
get a link on that in Discord? Because I'm not in.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna pass the dice back to Kara now. So you can do your scene as you wish. Let me go get the link to Dustin in the meantime. I was saying it would go back to Kara now because they were gonna go and then they popped out, so it'd be their turn.
This is Pierre.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this linky link to pop up.
Oh, which link do you need?
Session 2 link.
Okay. Do you want me to
Session 1.
Do you want me to go give you that on Discord? I guess I'll do that. Or do you want it in the Hangout? Because I can do both.
Either or. I can access it from either.
Okay, so let me send that to you. I did send it before. It just got lost, I guess. So.
It got lost in time and space.
Well, Kara dropped from the call, and I'm on the tablet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Motifs.
So yeah, you're the one sort of in the in the jovial situation. So you would describe to me something your character knows or something your character discovers.
Okey-doke.
Keeping in mind that your ally, who is limping and barely cognizant, has just wandered off. I love now I'm just imagining the like we do this loop of you don't actually discover anything meaningful, but you discover that he's surrounded as if that was like, no, that wouldn't be a good discovery. It's more you discover something about the world or something new about the setting, something like that. Of course, that also could count as a discovery, but it's a very weak one. Like, oh, I found him. It's like, good. Well, that was kind of easy. We could imply that you do that. That's not really the point.
Okay. Ishtuk couldn't believe it. He went around the corner. He was only gone like half a minute at most, answering the call of nature. And he comes back, and he's gone. Jack is gone. It's like needs to put a bell on him or something. But
I'm sorry. I'm just.
After moments of standing around, just looking at his surroundings, Ishtak figures, well, shit, he's got to find this idiot. He has this knack of disappearing.
I'm sorry. I don't like this.
Whereabouts was Jack's friend exactly? Did he vanish as well? Or?
We'll see it. You can determine that because you have control of the scene. So if you want to say where he went, because he didn't really specify, so that you can kind of fill that in if you want.
Well,
because if Carl didn't say anything specific, you can choose to just fill that in or leave it as vague as he did. Sort of up to you.
As Ishtak looks around, he notes that Jack's friend is also up and left. And he right now is rather confused. Where the hell did they bugger off to? Around, he picks a random direction. Not that he has many. Basically in some old, what appears to be a tunnel network made of old stone, cracked, very old. And as Ishtar travels down this tunnel network, studies the bricks, and the bricks span down the tunnel, and then there's like pillars and what appears to be walls and windows through walls. He finds this kind of odd, being that he figured they were in a sewer. He didn't realize that it was T.
Mm-hmm.
He pauses for a moment and he's studying these structures that are kind of he ends up in like this, I don't know, a chasm of sorts where the structures are sort of stepped on each other, kind of like a Pueblo type village.
Mm-hmm.
Where they sort of stack up in tiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as he's looking at this, he realizes that city, sewer network city, is actually much, much older than ground. It's as if the new city itself was built upon the ruins of the old. And he couldn't fathom as to why. But it was something that he be interesting looking into. Perhaps it was the monkey man that decided to build on top of the ruins. He wasn't too sure. Continued looking around at the ruins. He decided to continue the search for Jack. And yes, it's not funny. I can hear him laughing in the distance.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting like Samurai Jack vibes. I just watched.
I'm now imagining these monkeys just building this like city, like somehow, like.
Samurai Jack.
Oh, you're imagining. Yeah, I'm imagining that, but like in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Planet of the Apes, especially the scene in the second movie with the like the mutants who were underground and the apes and all that. Now I'm totally imagining
What,
that in my
they
head.
had a second movie?
Yeah,
Jeez.
there was another.
I didn't
There were like
think there was
there were
one
like
after the first.
there are like 4, and then if you count the new movies, there are like 6. I've seen all of them.
Fucking 6. Shit.
Yeah,
There's the
they're
original.
actually
Then there's the
they're
remakes.
they're pretty good. Yeah, I'd recommend. They're really good pulp movies, honestly, in my opinion. Really good. I really like the last one before they remade it because you get to see these monkeys like using guns and like trying to like shoot police officers. It's like the weirdest thing. No, that wasn't the last one. That was the second to last one. The last one was when you had the mutant humans running into the monkey camp with a giant like school bus that they rebuilt and then tried to attack the apes because they wanted to reclaim the planet. I remember that. That was the one. That was the last one they made before they remade them. Anyway, yes, I love those films. Those are probably the most pulpy films that I've actually seen. Most sort of weird post-apocalyptic stuff that I've seen. Anyway, and it might be inspiration for this. Who knows? Apes are a thing. So
Your dirty paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
exactly. So, what question did you want to ask me about what you've discovered? That's sort of, then you ask me a question and then I answer it. And then I pass to Dustin, obviously.
How old exactly are the ruins of this old city, and how did it come to be buried under this new one?
Okay. So I would say you can't really guess exactly how old the city is, but it's probably several thousand years old. It's pretty ancient. It would be it'd be the equivalent of like sort of a ruin that we see today, like of an ancient civilization that's several thousand years old. And based on the construction of the what was the second part of your question? Sorry.
How
You're
did
saying
it
how it got
come to
how it
be?
got buried? Right.
Yeah.
So you can see a lot of like sand deposits, like in between the ruins and like the structures. I'm definitely imagining in near Automata how they have the ruined city in the desert where they have sort of sand like piled up underneath the city and sort of covering up parts of the buildings. And so I'm definitely imagining like you could sort of surmise that the old city might have been a sandstorm of that magnitude would be a bit out of place because usually sandstorms wouldn't wash away entire cities, but you can see that parts of these buildings are just sort of caked in sand. So you'd imagine that almost like this city was buried underneath the sand somehow. And now the new city is sort of built over it. And they might not be aware, of how exactly this happened, but you could sort of guess it might have something to do with some sort of natural erosion, but on an extreme scale.
I'm sort of picturing that Ishtar, entered into a cavern and saw something like that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sort of
I see what you mean. Yeah. So if you can just imagine this sort of thing, but there's a lot more like sort of sand built up around it, that would be pretty accurate. Yeah. I'm gonna screen share this real quick so that it's visible.
Be prepared, audience. It'll be odd. Oh!
Aw. There we go. Okay. I'm not ready to end yet, so I'm gonna pass to Dustin. But
All
since
right.
you're in a different scene, I will have to set up the scene for you separately, and
Okay.
you'll do the same thing as everyone else. I just need to grab your scene. Oh, and just remember for the motifs, if you're doing the second set, something from the second set has to echo from the first.
Mhm.
But you still have one spot there, so that's fine.
Right.
Let me grab your scene real quick. So, I have to go to where your section is. So yes, like I was mentioning, the Guild Enforcer provides you with antidote, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
You sort of after sleeping in this sort of front, this tea house that is basically a hidden front for thieves guild. You are let go for the morning, and at dawn, the dawn bringer walks through the central forum of the city. It seems that you've become sort of a local celebrity overnight. Word of you has spread through the whole district faster than could be reasonably believed, and you suspect that your well, the word groupie wouldn't necessarily be actually correct, but you suspect the voice couldn't be far behind you now. A small crowd eyes you as you sort of strut through the city, glaring with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Uh, and in general, the city itself is fairly loud as more people are starting to move through the streets even in the early morning. And one particular voice rises above the others. The attention of the passerbys is redirected toward a tall woman with multicolored robes who preaches loudly toward the crowd, saying things such as, "You can all be free under the Red Goddess. She will forgive you of your crimes and open the way to true bliss," etc., etc.
Mhm.
As you're passing by, your ear catches wind of this, and you discover something new, or elaborate on something you already know.
Mm. Okay then. Well, let me first roll my dice here.
Sure. Yeah, you roll
Okay.
immediately. So
Jovial is 6 and Gloom is 4.
okay, so that's going to be jovial scene.
Mm-hmm. All right. Seeing the followers of the goddess are about, I'm going to just put up my hood and try to slip by without being noticed.
Mhm.
They seem to be busy with their speeches and such, so I'm going to head to the nearest local taverns and hope to find any traces of I forgot what I actually put her name as. It was oh yeah, Nais.
Yeah, it's I put a cast list to help with that, so
Yeah.
that's why I listed everyone's names there, so it would be easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Okay, back on track. Let's see. So yeah, I asked about for a woman fitting her description because of course she doesn't use her real name all the time. So
course.
And after a few hours of searching, I find her, and we get to talking and telling each other what's been going on with our lives and some stuff that I'd rather not mention on air.
Of course.
Mhm.
Oh.
Let's just say bondage
So-
was
so-
involved.
So are you discussing this like openly in the middle of the tavern, or are you?
No, we're of course going to her room.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. Ooh, my indeed.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so basically the things I know of is the goddess is now involved in the city. The thing I want to ask or discover is
Yeah.
how far her clutches are.
Right. Okay. Well, based on what you can sort of gather from the fact that you only found one of these sort of how I call them, preachers or proselytizers, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
As far as you know, you haven't spotted any others lurking within the city, but they might be in hiding in other places that you're not aware of. You hadn't noticed a large gathering of this group, so you would assume that their clutches don't spread very far, but they have established a foothold here, fairly far away from other civilizations where you would have seen them. So they've traveled fairly far, spreading almost like a virus desert. They've managed to claim a foothold. You're not sure how or why, but they're here. But they don't seem to have entrenched themselves firmly in the city. To answer your question.
Okay.
So from this point, I'm curious to pick up from where Jack left off with a perilous phase. Would everyone agree with that? Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay. So I will take a break here, and then I will set that up, and then we will return with some danger.